Pop music these days is fast-moving, and it's very hard to maintain popularity, even for some of the biggest pop stars in the world. In this video, we'll look at 10 singles that flopped in the 2020s so far. Women's World by Katy Perry. Katy Perry's return in 2024 with Women's World was marketed as a big comeback, her first solo release in over 2 years. Promoted as a feminist empowerment anthem, the song was paired with a high-budget music video and heavy social media rollout. Katy even teased the track with behind-the-scenes clips and live previews. But despite all the hype, Women's World was a huge failure. The song debuted on number 63 on the Billboard Hot 100, a very low outcome for a lead single from a pop star of Katy's caliber. It then quickly vanished from conversation altogether. Streaming numbers were underwhelming. Even close to a year since its release, it has just crossed 50 million streams on Spotify. The music video, while flashy, was highly criticized for its hollow representation of feminism. Instead of evolving her sound and reinventing her image, Katy was accused of trying to recapture past glory with a message that felt performative than authentic. It wasn't just a flop, it absolutely killed an era before it began. Boats by Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran is no stranger to topping the charts, so expectations were naturally high for the rollout of his 2023 album Subtract. Its second single, Boat, marked a departure from his usual pop-folk hits, embracing a more melancholic tone. Lyrically, the song deals with depression and inner battles. It was a follow-up to the lead single Eyes Closed, which was decently successful. The single failed to chart on the Billboard Hot 100, and peaked at a modest number 15 on the UK singles chart, his home turf. Even on streaming platforms, Boat didn't maintain momentum, currently hovering just over 60 million streams on Spotify. In hindsight, while the song's content was heartfelt, it didn't have the replayability or catchy hook that defines a typical Ed Sheeran hit. And being tied to a difficult era, Boat was a disappointment in terms of commercial success. Keep Going Up by Timbaland, Nelly Furtado, and Justin Timberlake. When Timbaland teased a reunion with Nelly Furtado and Justin Timberlake, fans were immediately excited, remembering the pop domination the trio had in the 2000s. With massive hits like Promiscuous and Give It To Me under their belt, the hype was undeniable. Their comeback track, Keep Going Up, was released in 2023. With nostalgia in mind, aiming to blend their signature sound with a modern touch. Unfortunately, the excitement didn't translate to chart success. The song peaked at number 84 on the Billboard Hot 100, spending only a single week on the chart. On Spotify, it has now accumulated around 22 million streams, a far cry from the billion stream numbers of their biggest hits. Despite being promoted on social media and interviews, the song simply didn't resonate with the current pop audience, or even nostalgic ones. The magic the trio once had seemed diluted, and in a fast-moving pop landscape, the song fell flat. Don't Go Yet by Camila Cabello. When Camila Cabello returned in 2021 with Don't Go Yet, it had all the makings of a hit, a Latin-infused upbeat track with a colorful high-budget music video, and the momentum of her previous chart-topping hits. It was promoted as the lead single from her third studio album Familia, and leaned heavily into her Cuban heritage. But despite a strong rollout, the song failed to ignite commercially. It peaked at number 42 on the Billboard Hot 100, far below expectations for an artist with multiple top 10 hits under her belt. The single was meant to set the tone for the album. It revealed the disconnect between Camila's artistic direction and her fans. While Latin pop had been surging globally, the song lacked the edge and innovation to stand out. It did slightly better on international charts, cracking the top 40 in the UK, but in the US, it was a sharp drop. Ultimately, Don't Go Yet became a soft re-entry than a triumphant comeback, and it was an underwhelming lead single that didn't start off the Familia era on the right foot. Skin of My Teeth by Demi Lovato. Skin of My Teeth marked Demi Lovato's return to music after a couple of difficult years in her personal life. The song, released in June 2022, came with a bold visual. Demi leaned into a pop-punk sound while talking about her struggles with addiction. It served as the lead single to Holy Fuck, her 8th studio album. However, the single itself didn't live up to commercial expectations. Despite a heavy media push, including performances and interviews, Skin of My Teeth failed to chart on the Billboard Hot 100 entirely. barely, and it has barely cracked 30 million Spotify streams, falling way behind other lead singles in her career. Critics praised Demi's vocals and honesty, but many listeners found the sound too jarring for an artist trying to reinvent herself again. This was a rocky start. Though Holy Fuck debuted on number 7 on the Billboard 200, Skin of My Teeth did little to help that success. The song felt like a statement piece, but commercially, it was a failure. Fair by Normani. After the smash success of 2021's Wild Side featuring Cardi B, expectations were sky high for Normani's next move, so when she dropped Fair in March 2022, a moody, stripped-down R&B ballad, fans were expecting something major. But the rollout was minimal, the vibe was low-key, and the song failed to chart on the Billboard Hot 100, despite a well-received Tonight Show debut performance and a strong online buzz from a loyal fanbase. Fair marked a dramatic tonal shift for Normani, moving away from the confidence of Wild Side into heartbreak territory. While the vocals were strong, the song didn't have the viral hook or a defining moment that stuck around. Spotify numbers were modest, hovering around 30 million streams to date. Without a strong push from the label, the song faded quickly. Even diehard fans acknowledged the rollout was botched. The song didn't lead to any album, with Normani waiting years to deliver her debut project. Sacrifice by Bebe Rexha. Bebe Rexha's Sacrifice was released in March 2021 as the second single from her sophomore album Better Mistakes. With a flashy Y2K-inspired music video and a slick EDM instrumental, it had all the ingredients to be a club and radio staple. The promotional rollout, complete with glamorous visuals and choreographed performances, suggested that it was meant to be her big moment. But despite that, Sacrifice didn't even crack the Billboard Hot 100, failing to cross over into the mainstream. The lack of a radio push, minimal playlisting, and Bebe shifting label priorities contributed to the song's lackluster performance. In hindsight, Sacrifice became a cult favorite for fans who believed it deserved better. The song was a standout in her discography and even saw a resurgence on TikTok with fan edits. Yet commercially, it was a missed opportunity that showed how even a well-packaged banger can struggle without proper timing, label momentum, or a mainstream push. Lucky by Halsey. Halsey's Lucky is one of 2024's most underwhelming rollouts, despite being from a multi-platinum genre-shifting artist. Released in March 2024 as the lead single from her album The Great Impersonator, it arrived with little excitement. The song attempted a more breezy alternative pop sound, deviating from the darker tones of her previous album If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. It was released with a nostalgic music video referencing Britney Spears' Toxic. Commercially, it underperformed across the board. The song peaked at number 88 on the Billboard Hot 100 and did in charts in most major markets. Currently, it only has around 27 million Spotify streams, a low number for someone of Halsey's stature. It also went largely ignored on TikTok. The flop of Lucky sparked debates among fans and critics about Halsey's current direction. Was it a victim of weak promotion, or had Halsey's pop momentum slowed down? Either way, the song was a commercial disappointment. What I Am by Zayn. Zayn's 2024 comeback single What I Am had all the makings of a reinvention moment. It was his first release under Mercury Records after years of label drama. The song marked the start of his fourth studio album Room Under the Stairs, with heavy promotion through Rolling Stone profiles and talk show appearances, a big shift for an artist who notoriously avoided the spotlight. But despite this new openness, the song completely underperformed. Upon release in March 2024, What I Am failed to chart on the Billboard Hot 100 and only peaking at number 89 in the UK. The issue wasn't necessarily quality. Critics praised the stripped-back, mature sound, but in an era of fast hooks and TikTok-ready choruses, What I Am felt too subdued to connect with the mainstream audience. Zayn's voice sounded great, and the lyrics were heartfelt, but the song lacked a memorable punch. For a long-awaited comeback, it was a disappointment. Light Again by Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X skyrocketed to fame with the mega-viral Old Town Road and continued his run with boundary-pushing hits like Montero and Industry Baby. As it went into the 2020s, His momentum was starting to slow down, and when Light Again was released in 2024, after a quiet 2023, it became his least impactful single to date. Released in April 2024 as the lead single from his upcoming studio album Dream Boy, with a flashy teaser campaign and big-budget visuals, it debuted to surprisingly little fanfare. The song failed to enter the Billboard Hot 100, which was surprising for an artist who previously dominated the charts. On streaming platforms, the song struggled too, only managing to accumulate less than 9 million streams on Spotify to date. The music video, while well shot, lacked the shock factor that made Lil Nas X visuals headline-grabbing events. It felt like he was trying to recapture the energy of his earlier hits without offering something fresh. With pop music evolving so quickly, Lil Nas X's momentary stumble shows how hard it is to maintain cultural dominance, even for someone who broke every rule to get to the top. Which flop singles of the 2020s did I miss? Tell me in the comments below.